Hello, I'm alone in Finland. This is Eve Online, and we are back with another bit of reality about the game, managing expectations and talking about the disconnect between what people are putting on YouTube and what is actually out there. So this video started with a conversation with somebody who got chatting to us, was very friendly and amicable, and they happily explained the method that they were making money, and they were talking about billions per day, and very specifically in a particular method that was put on a video that was on YouTube. Now, they showed this video to me. I don't want to mention the YouTuber's name, but when I watched the YouTuber, I immediately noticed errors. And what I have to say is one of the best clickbaits that I've seen in a while, because what they said in the title was it was sort of farming lowsec spawns and how to make billions with a shuttle. Now, what they didn't say is how to make billions per hour or how to make billions per month. They didn't put any reference of time frame, and their method, if you did it for long enough, could generate billions. And if you are exceptionally lucky, like winning the lottery lucky, you could possibly do it in a week. And if you are as lucky as I have been while researching this, you could do it in about 10 years. So I thought that was quite funny, just the way that it said billions but it had no time frame, so it was quite an accurate title. So the method is this, and it was explained better in the other video, and sort of you've been given a few search terms there if you want to go have a look at it. But essentially what you're doing is you're finding minor victory systems that are in lowsec, and you can take a shuttle along, and where you have the entropic disintegrators that spawn on the actual the asteroid belts, you just go to them. And what will happen is when you go to them, occasionally you will cause a spawn to happen. And when the spawn happens, the entropic disintegrators will kill it, and then you can just go and loot it. And the example given in this video, the first example, they got one module within sort of half an hour. They called it 20 minutes, but looking at the actual clock in your man's video, it was half an hour. And he got a module worth 125 million. And then 150 million possibly. But then he got a blueprint later on. He sort of jump clipped and showed this blueprint they got, which was worth several million as well. And that sort of became from that he said, well, obviously you can see that this is a frigate, and if you happen to get the battleship spawn, then that could sell for up to 600 million. So it's conceivable with a couple of those spawns that you could make billions in a day. Except when you're looking at his video, the first part of it took place at 9 o'clock in the morning, the second part of it took place at sort of 5 o'clock in the evening, and he's only got those two examples in the video, and neither of them add up to even 300 million. So it was very sort of the same disconnect that's happened in the other videos I'm talking about, where they say if you multiply this by infinity you will get more money. But that's not how the game works, that's not how the spawns work. So let me explain how I researched this, because what I actually did was, as you can see from the bookmarks here, I've got minor victories and I've set them up in 3 systems. The right Sato system was the one in the video, which is in the north. Another one in the north is Athenon, which is a couple of jumps away from this. And then you've got the system that I'm in at the moment, which is Sotin Razur, however it's pronounced. And what I did was I took 6 hours before downtime, so basically when I got up, and I did 6 hours before downtime, sort of quieter time to do this. And then, oh, we have a little Reaper here, who appears to be doing the same thing. Where's he at? But I did 6 hours before downtime, and then a few hours after downtime, sort of in the main playtime, about in the evening, I did another 6 hours at the same system. So I've spent 12 hours in each system, with the exception of Sorit, which I'm now in, where I did the full day, the two sort of sets of 6 hours. But then also today, I've now been doing this for another 3 hours, just to see what's going on. as the example of that, in 3 hours, I'm not killing every spawn. I killed occasional spawns when I was bored, but I only went for the high value ones, and the only high value one that I got was one clone soldier in 3 hours. Now, there are how many belts in the system? There's a few. Oh, I'm so tempted just to nail that guy, just because I'm bored. He's brand new. I want to do it and I don't want to do it. He's doing the exact method that I'm talking about, but I'll leave him be because that's just harsh. I also can't lock him down because I don't have a scram. But so I went and I did 12 hours per site in the one run. So 6 hours in the morning, then 6 hours in the evening, then move to the next place, 6 hours and 6 hours, and then 6 hours and 6 hours. And then today, when I decided to film the full video to explain all of this is how I've sort of come across this research. And in 2 and a bit hours, I've gotten a couple of million. I've gotten one decent spawn. In the next system over, because I jumped into the next system over, there I saw 2 decent spawns in the belts. There was one clone soldier and one domination spawn that had been killed and looted by other people. So I had seen those in a different system, but in this one, jumping between every single belt, there's not much going on. So this is where I'm sort of saying there's this disconnect between what is being produced and put on YouTube and what is actually possible. Now, the method that you're talking about, you can absolutely do it, and you can do it with a shuttle. You can go in, loot the wrecks, come back, loot another wreck. You can make a bit of money off of it. It's better in a frigate because you got a bit more space, and it's something to make money earlier on. But there's also a spawn rate that was not addressed, because when they were talking about the spawn rate, he mentioned getting a battleship spawn, and obviously the bigger, the more expensive the spawns, the less chance of them coming. The actual spawn ratio is about 1 out of 100 spawns is going to be sort of that higher tier, so a clone soldier or a domination or something like this, and it's worked out by the amount of belts in the system. You can have a Google on the forums for all of this. It's all been explained by the devs, but essentially you're looking for 1 in 100 spawns, and each spawn is going to happen every 15 minutes. So 1 in 100 out of 15 times sort of 15 minutes means that you're not going to be making this money quickly. It's going to be a long, slow, boring process to be able to get the stuff. The right Sato system is a better option for doing it because you have more belts, therefore more spawns. But at the same time as that, it's also in the north and it's a more popular system. When I was doing it up there was actually 2 shuttles doing exactly what this little guy, Solo Stargazer, and the Reaper is doing right now, where he was just sort of jumping in and running about, and I actually managed to snag a clone soldier tag right from under his nose, because as this guy's doing, he's got a safe spot a little bit off, so he's jumping out, jumping back in, and they hadn't sort of seen what's going on. So this is a way of making money. But the other reason that I made this particular video is because the person who spoke about this to me had talked about making several billion per day when they were doing it. So that's why I got interested, because I didn't know this method of making money. So I was doing research on it, and when I was actually in Right Sato doing it, the guy was talking to me through Eve. So we're in a chat, we're chatting away about it, and he said, well, if I'd said about let me get this out correctly, your man had been saying, oh, I'm actually doing it at the moment, I'm making this money, and I've made this in the morning, and he said a couple of 100 million, and he linked, sort of just by kind of dragging them over, he showed me a couple of modules in chat, and he said, oh, I got these this morning. And I said, well, how long have you been doing it? And he said, I've been at it for 3 hours. I said, what system are you in? And he said, I'm in Right Sato. And at that point, I had been in Right Sato, which is, remember, a lowsec system, so I can see everybody in local, and I'm chatting to the guy, so I know he's in game. And I had been sat in that system for 4 hours. He's just said that he's been in it for 3 hours, and I'm sat there going, no, you're not, because I'm in here and there's only 2 other people, and neither of them are you. So it's like, oh, are you doing it with an alt? And he said, no, I'm doing it with this character just now. And I said, oh, could I come and join you? And he went, oh, I'm just leaving. And I said, okay. So you're doing it with that character? Yes. This character right now. I went, I'm in right saddle and I have been for a few hours. And the communication disconnected and he's blocked me. And I was like, okay, well, there's your literal disconnect between reality and what is being portrayed, because your man has sort of been lying through his teeth about what he was making. And this has come up a few times. Somebody had talked about making billions in one of the videos in the comments, and when I said, oh, could you prove this, could you put it into one of the online things so that I can see your market transactions and I know you're telling the truth, and all of a sudden no more communication. So that's something to remember when you're seeing these things, because my god, there's a whole load of them where they are just talking nonsense essentially. And then obviously the YouTubers are going for clicks, and more clicks come from, oh, you can do this really fast. But I don't think a lot of people either know or care. I want to put it as they don't know or understand that what they're actually doing is harmful to the community, because a new person comes in, sees how much money they can make through YouTube, goes to make that and they can't get anywhere near it, so they go, oh well, it'll take too long to get the skills invested. And because they've been looking at the shininess, then they just throw the entire hobby down the bin, the entire game down the bin, because they're like, no, it'll take me years to get there. And I've seen that in a few comments on Reddit where people are saying, no, it would take me years to get the skills to do any of this stuff at a decent level, so I don't want to invest the time. And I'm sat there going, but there's tons of things that you can do. You don't need to be flying a capital ship and doing one versus 30 battles to have fun in the game. There are different things for different people, and the majority of the people that are doing that have so much stuff around about them that if you want to do that, get talking to the right people and you can get it. But you're not going to be doing it solo, because they're not doing it solo. So that's where the sort of idea for this video came in. Obviously today I've sort of run through this for a couple of hours and I've made a couple of million. I made about 4 million in bounties off just random ships that I decided to shoot. And I sort of keeping an eye on what was spawning. If you just went through the belts in a lowsec system, if you have a ship that can put out about 250 DPS, and you don't even need a proper tank, you just need to be able to survive long enough to kill the ships, make it something nice and cheap, and then you should be able to do this and harvest a little bit of sort of ISK in the region of about maybe 15 to 20 million per hour in a fairly safe lowsec system like this. At the moment for this system there is 5 people in local, 3 of them are missioners, and 2 have come in and gone out, and different people are back and forward. If you want to know this is Sorrent Sur. That's the name of the system. It's this one up here. Sot Ren Zur is the minor victory, and the system next to this, which one is it? It's the 0.2, so Katagumur. That has a lot of belts in them and some good rating, but it also has a lot of ore spawns, and most of the people in there are miners as well. I was chatting to them earlier, so if you're looking for a community that's a little bit safer in lowsec, then that's somewhere to have a look at. They seem nice and friendly in there, and they all seem to be from the same 3 corps, and not any PvP in the time that I was in there. So I hope that's been a little bit informative and helped you out, giving you a better perspective on some of the things that is going on, and in this particular sort of lowsec farming that you can do. Again, this is something that is possible, it's just not as advertised. Yes, you can make billions, but if you're killing 5,000 ISK bounties in high sec, you can make billions. The qualification being it'll take you about 10 years to make billions, but it is possible. So just keep that in mind. Everything seems to need a bit of pinch of salt at the moment. But thanks for watching. Fly safe if that's what you choose to do, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.